offense that clicks at a high level. I don't know who's sleeping on this team.
We learned last year.
Shouldn't be sleeping on this team.
Well, they have the longest odds chip. They were a 5 seed. There may be a degree.
They're not awake yet.
Yeah.
They're napping. Maybe the world is napping on this team. Finally, here we go, McNutt. If I said the Celtics title window was one and done, is that McNuts?
Listen, I'm going to go with this one being McNuts, okay? I think the window currently is undergoing major renovation, but it is not closed just yet. Look, you still have Jaylen Brown there. Jason Tatum's going to get healthy. The nature of where we are in the NBA is dynasties hard to come by. Like, we're looking at our 7th different champion in as many years. And so I would not say that the window is closed. I just don't think that you're going to see, obviously, they didn't win this year. The back-to-backs are probably, that era is over.
Well, there is also the Jason Tatum reality of it, and it is horrible, but he didn't just get hurt for the remainder of this series, right? We all know this is an injury that is going to cost him most, if not all, of next season. And Windy, if he was here, would start running through all the litany of contractual realities facing this team and new ownership and everything else.
I can give it to you. I mean, they're facing, I'll keep it simple, they're facing a potential of $500 million in luxury tax because they're in the repeater now. That's not sustainable. I mean, imagine putting that much money out and you're not paying players with that. That's the tax on what you're paying the players. You're at almost $227 million in just payroll. They can't sustain that. That is not sustainable. So this will be where Tatum and Brown, this is now 2 iterations of a team around them. The team that went to the finals that they lost to Golden State, that team would look different than this team that won a championship. They're going to have to now, with these 2 guys as a centerpiece, build again around them. So the window with these 2 guys is not closed because they're in their prime. But the window of this iteration of the Celtics certainly has to be, just financially, it tells you they cannot continue.
That's a whole lot of dollar bills. Oh, my God.
That's it.
And there is a new ownership situation, and there seems to be some uncertainty surrounding that as well. I won't get over my skis on that because I don't know that we know all the details. One way or another, there's a great deal of uncertainty going forward in Boston. No Jason Tatum, certainly at the beginning of next year, and we'll see how much of it throughout all of next season. So when we look back on this Celtic team, and the injury to Tatum is just, well, look, there's the question on the screen. Is there an asterisk? I'm offended by the question being up there, and it's my own show. Like, there is no asterisk in sports. Part of winning a championship is staying healthy, right? The asterisk, that's just part of this thing. It is a marathon. Injuries happen. History does not write down who got hurt along the way. You wind up winning the championship. This, of course, was the terrible moment. But was this moment in its own way, in your mind, Marcus, the last time we will see this group of Celtics together?
For sure, man. I think first you have to get off Porzingis. I don't know what you get back from him. He's non-existent. And obviously Drew Holiday's up as well. I think you float Drew. I know that's going to be tough coming, talking about Boston. But you float Drew and you see what you can get back from him right during the season, and you could put around Jaylen Brown and see how far he can carry the Celtics, I would say, up until the trade deadline. And if it doesn't look right, I think you have to reevaluate it.
Can you get
and then make that move.
But there's a reason why this roster costs so much, right? Can you get pieces that still allow you to compete and it be affordable? Like,
you got to go a year without repeating.
Well, there may be a more realistic question. That is this a championship contender without Jason Tatum anyway? And if it isn't, then you might as well start making, for lack of a better word, breaking it all up to build it all up again at some point in the future.
Yeah, and I think this is a period where we're going to start seeing people auditioning in different ways. You're going to see more opportunity for different players to see if they stay or if they go. And like you said, there are a lot of things out of control. Drew Holiday was dealing with some injuries. Porzingis was dealing with an illness. Like, those are out of control situations. But then it makes you question, all right, what is the value I'm getting back moving forward if I'm only going to get this player for X amount of time? When it comes to the Boston Celtics, there's a core that you have to protect. And you talk about the dollars, right? And the cents. I feel like watching what happened with the Phoenix Suns is the greatest cautionary tale for any new owner in the NBA. Because that second apron will absolutely hamper you. Remember, Phoenix doesn't own their own draft pick until 2032. Think about they're not able to maintain trades, especially when you have like a no trade clause with someone like Bradley Beal. Like, they're looking at these circumstances and learning from it, and I think they're gonna have some tough decisions, but the core, I believe, can remain remain the same, but the surrounding pieces maybe
What's the core, though? Who are we coring?
The core is Tatum and Brown.
Not White?
And Derek White.
Well,
Thank you.
Okay, and say Derek White, too. And he's terrific.
Yeah,
I did not mean that to shortchange him. But the reality is you are building around Tatum and Brown for the future.
Yes.
Right? That's a pretty good place to start.
Absolutely. But
no?
The previous question that was put up
We'll come back
about
to
the
it.
asterisk.
Yeah.
So was it the Raptors championship? Did it have an asterisk on it because they lost KD and Klay Thompson?
Yes, but no one remembers that.
I don't really remember them talking much about an asterisk there. Was there an asterisk for the Timberwolves because Steph Curry wasn't available? Was there an asterisk on that series, or are the Timberwolves legit?
People talk about 2020, the
Lakers' second championship. Want to go back to 1988 when Isaiah Thomas had an ankle injury where he just barely could walk. Still had 25 and a quarter, but still. Is that an asterisk on that championship? No. As you said, the healthy team wins most of the time. And so if you have injuries, that's part of the deal. No asterisk.
All right, let me leave that there for the moment. We have something we do every single Monday, and it raises the question, who won the weekend in the world of sports? Everybody you want them to, and people keep deciding it's his fault. I had people telling me that if they didn't win this series, that Coach Tibbs was in jeopardy of being fired. That was ridiculous then. It's even more ridiculous now. To me, he was the big winner of the weekend. Next, Scottie Scheffler. You realize the last time he played in the PGA Championship, he wound up in jail trying to get into